Hey, what's up? It's Chris Gonzalez here once again for another episode of Trade Talk Tuesdays. And like I mentioned last week, in celebration of the upcoming release of the film Predator Badlands, I am going to be going over the 3 Predator versus miniseries by Benjamin Percy. Again, the first one, Predator versus Wolverine. Second is Predator versus Black Panther. And then the third is Predator versus Spider-Man. So first of all, start with Predator versus Wolverine. So again, Benjamin Percy is going to be the writer in all the 3 of these miniseries. And the artist for this particular miniseries, the Wolverine one, so Ken Lashley is the artist for the present day sequences, and Greg Land with Jay Leisten are the artists for the Young Wolverine sequences. Andrea DeVito is for the Team X sequences. Hayden Sherman is the artist for the Weapon X sequence. Kai Zama is the artist for the Muramasa era, and Gavin Guidry is the artist for the Westchester era sequences. And there's multiple color artists. Juan Fernandez is the colorist for the present day and Team X sequences. Frank Dermata is the colorist for the Young Wolverine. Alex Guimaraes is the colorist for the Weapon X and Muramasa era, and Matthew Wilson is the colorist for the Westchester era. And the letterer is Corey Pettit, and Marco Cicchetto did the covers, which I really dug. So I'm just gonna go ahead and say this. This Wolverine, Predator versus Wolverine series is my favorite out of the 3 trades. So, starts with, we're in Canada. Wolverine is beat up, he's bloodied, part of his shoulder's missing, and he's running away from something. And he's being hunted. And look at just this artwork by Ken Lashley. It's just beautiful, so detailed, and the coloring, again, it all came together. And so Wolverine's being hunted, obviously, by a predator, and he jumps off a cliff to get away from him. He's hiding here from him, trying to wait until his regenerative powers kick in. And throughout this series, it goes back and forth between present day and the past, because this predator has been hunting Wolverine for years now. So it just goes through the first time he came across this particular predator. He's in Alaska here during his younger days. And yeah, so in this, predator comes down, and apparently the predators have been coming down to Earth during multiple times throughout the years. And you know, Wolverine at this time, he's just living in Alaska, trying to be as isolated as possible. He goes to this bar, and some guys trying to offer him a deal, but Wolverine's not really having it. Guys trying to get him paid, and then Wolverine gets into a bar fight, because, you know, it wouldn't be a Wolverine story without one, with these 2 gentlemen, and he beats the crap out of them, and it pretty much all that gives the guy all that he needs to, again, try to hire Wolverine to help him. Apparently, he says his son was kidnapped, so Wolverine ends up helping him. And then, meanwhile, the Predator is just killing any animal that's in his way. Like a lot. And one of the animals is a orca whale, which is crazy. And PETA would not like this Predator at all. And he comes across a small village, a small town. Let's see, he's in his being cloaked. And then meanwhile, Wolverine and the gentleman he met at the bar are going to this site that apparently the guy's son's been taken to, and they come across that village that the Predator was at, and look at that, just animals are strung up and humans, they've been skinned and hung upside down, the Predator's signature calling card. And yeah, it was a really tense and intriguing issue. So the guy leads Wolverine to apparently the bandits' hideout that they're keeping their son, but so Wolverine goes in there, kicks the crap out of them, incapacitates all of them, pretty much kills them. And then the guy who hires him turned on him. Because apparently, what is he? So apparently he's the one who this guy is actually the one who hired all of these guys. And those guys actually turned on him and took all the money, so he wanted payback. So yeah, that guy commissioned a railroad robbery, and yeah, he just took all the money. So he's about to leave, but then his head gets blown off by the Predator. And then Wolverine, this is the first time he fights him. And they again beat the crap out of each other. Predator cuts off, and at this point Wolverine has bone claws. He gets stabbed by the spear. And yeah, they continue to fight outside. And then Wolverine runs away because this Predator's the real deal, so he runs to this bear cave and traps the Predator, and then big old Grizzly grabs him, and Wolverine thinks that he's defeated the Predator because the bear pulls the Predator into the cave. Wolverine walks away, but Predator's not dead. And he beheaded the bear. So the Predator is on a revenge quest now. And then it flash forwards a few years. Now they're in South America. Wolverine is part of this Black Ops team consisting of Sabretooth, Jackson, Cruel, Maverick, and little do they know that they're about to come across that same Predator, and that Predator is going to take out each member of Wolverine of Team X. This is the Team X section. So Cruel's the first one to go, and the team's like doesn't know what they're in for. But guess what? It's not just one Predator. It's multiple Predators are on the hunts. But that was the end of the first issue. And then second issue jumps back to the present, where Wolverine, again, he was leaning against that cliff, waiting to get healed again. But the Predator was waiting for him. He sends these drones to attack. Wolverine jumps, and there's a rock slide, and Wolverine, he falls to the water below, and since his skeleton is coated with adamantium, he sinks to the bottom, and the Predator jumps after him, and it goes back to South America, where Team X is facing down the team of Predators. And, you know, Sabretooth goes ape shit with this Gatling gun. That's a cool image right there. And yeah, so one by one, the Predators take out the team. It's implied that Sabretooth dies, but he actually doesn't. But the girl, Jackson, she dies. She gets wrinkled up by the neck and decapitated. And then Maverick, he gets injured as well. But his leg gets injured. He's unable to walk, but he's able to kill one of them. And the other, I don't know why this guy was already dead. I don't know. His Predator colleagues killed him with their blades. And they go into this abandoned temple, and Team X, they were originally on a mission to kill this guy, but now they have to work together since the Predators are hunting them. So at this point, Wolverine's mind has been wiped like multiple times, but he has some recollection of his encounter with the Predator back when they fought in Alaska. So Wolverine, I guess he kept this heirloom that the Predator was tracking. And then they tricked the rest of the Predators. They set off a bunch of explosives in the temple. And yeah, so, but again, the Predator is not dead. And then it flash forwards again to the Weapon X period, where, you know, Wolverine's getting the adamantium grafted to his skeleton, and this art's by Hayden Sherman, which this is, you know, the same artist that's doing Absolute Wonder Woman right now and Batman Dark Patterns, and you could tell this is Hayden Sherman artwork, but it's a lot different than Absolute Wonder Woman and Dark Patterns. But so Wolverine, again, he's incapacitated because they had just coated his skeleton with adamantium, and then the Predator, man, he's so petty. He's just wants to kill Wolverine, and so he's there. That was the end of the third issue. And the fourth and final issue, again, is back in present day. Wolverine, again, at the bottom of this lake or whatever, river, tricks the Predator. And he's able to escape. And then it goes back to the Weapon X facility. And it shows how the Predator infiltrated the base and killed everybody. And then Wolverine wakes up, he's mindless and full of rage. He stabs him, and this is crazy. So the Predator, this is a crazy image. So the Predator puts like this substance in Logan's mouth, and that substance like melts away his face. Look at that. Look at how crazy that looks. And so his face is gone now. It's just his adamantium skull. Why can't I pronounce that word? I'm having trouble. But yeah, so the Predator takes Wolverine's body as a trophy, takes him back to his ship, and then again, using his regenerative powers, he starts to heal. But it's a cool image right there. Predator with all trophies and Wolverine. But since the Predator infiltrated the Weapon X base, and that's like they have government contracts for that base that are worth billions, I think the U.S. government sends some planes to attack the Predator ship, and then the Predator ship eventually destroys one of them and then heads off into space. And then Wolverine wakes up. Dude, look at this image. Look at this image. Look, his face is just a skull, and that's so badass. So he wrecks shop in the inside of the ship and breaches the hull, and you know, his body falls back to Earth. And then, so the scientists, they eventually get Logan's body, and then they also get the Predator mask, which they experiment on the technology inside the Predator mask to use it to create the mask for the Weapon X, which is pretty cool. And then again, jumps back again to the present, but a week before, you know, issue 1 started, and Logan, since he eventually goes back to the Weapon X facility, destroys it, and apparently he retrieves that mask that they obtained, the Predator mask that they obtained, so he's using it as bait to lure that Predator who's been hunting him for all those years, because he wants to end this. He wants to fight it off and kill it for good. And then it goes back into the past in Japan, and Logan, he's training with his master at the time, Muramasa, and Muramasa just says, fight me and defeat me using only a sword, and don't use your claws. So, I mean, the artwork's okay, and this was the weakest part in my opinion, because it ends where the Predator comes back, and this is a cool image though, but it ends with the Predator comes back, and the master, Muramasa, tells Logan, like, hey, today we're gonna fight together. But in the very next issue, he's like, no, he's like, Logan, you're on your own. So he's like, Logan's like, hey, a little help here? He's like, this is not my enemy. But in the previous issue, he's like, hey, we're gonna fight this together, but it's whatever. But yeah, I was jumping ahead there. So, but the beginning of issue 4 is, you know, Logan, he's setting the trap for the Predator. Dude, look at that. That's a bear skull. That's so cool. So this is how this is how he gets all messed up in the beginning of issue 1. So yeah, this was just fun, and I liked how they went back and forth between the present and the past, and showed Wolverine's history dealing with this Predator. So, and the last section into the past that we got was when Wolverine is in the Xavier School for Gifted Students, and this is illustrated by Gavin Guidry. It's got that old school, kind of reminds me of Chris Samney's art, but you know, Wolverine, he saves Professor X from the explosives that the Predator launched. So the Predator tracks Wolverine down to the mansion, and Colossus shows up, and the Predator, they attack the school. Wolverine checks on the kids, see if they're okay, and yeah, so pretty much Wolverine tells the kids like, hey, you guys need to get away from me. It's too dangerous. So the Predator eventually holds Rogue hostage, so Wolverine gives himself up. But it's not actually Wolverine. Wolverine tricked him. The Logan that the Predator thought he captured was actually Danny Moonstar. And then Nightcrawler gets involved as well. And then Kitty Pryde helps him, which this is the only part that kind of confused me. So Kitty Pryde like pulls him into the ground or something. And yeah, the X-Men just let this guy walk off. like he's obviously gonna come back. So they're back to the present day. And again, this artwork's just, look at this, look at that. It's their final fight, and yeah, it's eventually they have a standoff, but the Predator sets off his self-destruct sequence with the bomb attached to its wrist, and then blows himself up. But Logan has the last laugh because again, he can regenerate and he emerges the victor. But he's kind of sad because, you know, he enjoyed being on his toes the whole time and just looking over his shoulder for the Predator, but he kept a souvenir. And that was it. So again, this was my favorite out of 3. Really dug how they told the story, the artwork, most of the artists I really enjoyed. And yeah, Benjamin Percy, he really knows how to write Logan really well. So highly recommend this. All right, next is the Predator versus Black Panther trade. And again, written by Benjamin Percy. And the artists are, the pencilers are Chris Allen. He did issues 1 and 3 and 4. Sean Damon Hill did the penciling for 2 through 4. And Lee Ferguson did contributed to penciling in issues 1 through 2. Some of the inkers included Greg Young, Jonas Trindade, and Lee Ferguson also did his own inking as well. And the colorist was Eric Arciniega, and the letterer is Travis Lanham. So this was out of the 3 miniseries, this is my least favorite. It was still cool, but it's pretty much about these 2 brothers, Predator brothers. The species they're called, what are they called? Starts with a Y. What are they called? The Yalcha, and I probably mispronounced that, so correct me if I did. The Yalcha are the species for the predators, but yeah, so it starts off with these 2 brother predators. They're, you know, standing in front of their dad's throne. The dad's like a major tribal chief, I guess, of their clan. Each brother has their own clan, and this is the older brother, and this is the younger brother. The younger brother is smaller than the older one, and the younger brother has he was born without one of his legs, so he has a robot leg. So pretty much the younger brother demanded an audience with his father, and he wanted to prove his worth. So his father pretty much set up a battle between the brothers and their clans, their respective clans. So the winner, well, actually the father, he had a spear. I don't know if you can see it. He had a spear that is made out of vibranium. And so the brothers, their clans fight, and the older brother prevailed, and to humiliate the younger brother, the older brother like ties him. He doesn't kill him straight out, but he ties the younger brother to like a column or a podium. No, not a podium. He ties him down to something to leave him out to, die. So, but the other younger brother was resourceful, and since he wasn't as strong as his older brother, he used his wits and his intelligence to pretty much infuse their technology into himself. So he pretty much, like Wolverine, inserted blades into his wrist, so he got himself cut down. And the younger brother wanted to become stronger and dethrone his father and his older brothers, so he had a readout of the vibranium spear, and he traced one of the sources to Wakanda. So his clan heads out to Wakanda, and then we jump to Wakanda, where they're having like a training session between the Dora Milaje and the Hatat-Zares. They're war dogs, and they're having the T'Challa hunt them, essentially. It's a cool shot of T'Challa. So, and then this is Okoye, and Shuri hacks T'Challa's vibranium suit and makes him fight Okoye without the suit. And he still wins, but he senses something's... Well, okay, I'm skipping ahead, but... So Shuri takes T'Challa up this waterfall where... It's a pretty cool image right there. A bunch of waterfalls. But they meet up with this shaman pretty much from the river tribe. His name is Majikina, and he pretty much, he sees things through the water. And then, like I mentioned, the younger brother, he's disgraced. He wants to kill his older brother and father to prove that he is worthy. So they head out to Wakanda, and they find that to obtain more vibranium, because the younger brother wants to create armor made out of vibranium and create more weapons, and just so he can get more of an advantage when he fights his older brother again. So they go to Wakanda, they infiltrate it, and again he asks these river tribe shaman, like, what do you see? And the river tribe, he's like, Wakanda's in trouble. And again, this was cool. The artwork, it's kind of like all over the place, so sometimes it was hard to see what was actually going on, because there's just so much happening. And then they sense that something's wrong, and then so that Predator's clan, they're looking to get some vibranium. And so because T'Challa notices like the birds are acting pretty strange, so he starts to investigate. He goes alone without Shuri. So he sees this dead bird. He tries to figure out what's wrong. And then multiple predators, since they sense that his suit is made of vibranium, they all attack him and hit him in the head. And he gets concussed and he falls and lands in the mud. He's knocked out. And then Shuri's been trying to get her brother T'Challa to open the borders of Wakanda, because a lot lot of people in the outside world, they need help, and they would, benefit from Wakanda's resources, and, T'Challa's against it. So Shuri goes with that River Tribe shaman to breach and go out to the outside world. And again, the Predators have infiltrated, and they attack the control person, and they lock Shuri out of the dome so they can't get back in. And when Shuri tries to get back in, her ship explodes because the Predators have hacked Wakanda's defense systems. And yeah, so that's the end of issue 1. And then the Dora Milaje are being hunted. They have like the 3-dot thing that the Predators do. So yeah, so again, issue 2, the Dora Milaje are surrounded, and they have a fight with the clan. Some of the Dora Milaje die, but they take out some of the Predators as well. Like this one, it's pretty cool. So, and then T'Challa, he gets back after being, I believe he probably did suffer a concussion. So he comes across this Dora Milaje, he frees her, and then Shuri did survive her plane crash, and the shaman, he looks into the water and he sees that the Predators have infiltrated and they're killing a lot of their people. And then Shuri asks, "What do you see?" And he says, "I see the death of Wakanda." So, and then another Predator comes out of the barrier, from inside the barrier, and tries to pull Shuri in. And Maji Kina tries to save her. And T'Challa fights the Predator for the first time, one of the Predators. But then a crocodile, like in the Wolverine series with the bear attacking the Predator, this time a crocodile takes him, and T'Challa finishes him off. And then the brother is preparing to attack T'Challa, but he gets a message. One of his clan members messaged him because they found what they were looking for, and they found the mother lode for the vibranium. So that was the end of issue 2. And again, brother starts mining the vibranium, and again, Dora Milaje take out another Predator. So does T'Challa, and T'Challa, he comes to the realization that they're after the vibranium. They have to go to it's called the Great Mounds, and then go back to Shuri. Maji Kina tries to save her, but he ends up dying, and Shuri eventually pulls that Predator out and kills him, and she eventually obtains the Predator's helmet. And then jump back to, this is when T'Challa was concussed and knocked out, so he visits the ancestral plane, and apparently his grandfather, Azuri the Wise, he came across the Predators back in his day, and they studied the Predators' technology, and they actually used the Predators' cloaking technology to implement it into their own and helped create that defensive dome that conceals Wakanda, which I thought that was pretty cool. So the brother, he knows that Black Panther and the Black Panther's Dora Milaje and everybody, they're coming, so they're preparing for that. And then, because we jump back to Shuri and what she's doing. Again, she's trying to hack into the Predator technology, and she had called out for help when she was outside the Wakandan barrier, and Falcon, Sam Wilson, shows up, and he's the one that picked up her message, so he helps her, and that's the end of issue 3. So final issue, preparing for the final showdown between T'Challa and the brother Predator, this younger brother. So one by one, some of T'Challa's war dogs get killed. This is one of the war dogs, apparently, like, he tripped a mine in a hallway, and all these lasers just cut off all his limbs, and it's a pretty crazy image. I like the banter between Sam Wilson and Shuri. Shuri puts on the Predator helmet, and Sam keeps talking to her, and she keeps telling him to be quiet. And Sam's like, "What are you doing?" And she's like, "Remember that part of shish?" So yeah, she's trying to hack their technology. And then go back to T'Challa. He's about to prepare to fight the brother, and they finally meet up, and they're gonna fight one-on-one, and then T'Challa takes off his armor, and they fight 1-to-1, and then T'Challa gets the best of him, and he asks the brother, "Do you yield?" And then they try to escape with the vibranium that they stole, but then Shuri and Falcon, they fly up to their escaping ship, and then Shuri uses the wrist bomb that she obtained from when she killed the Predator that attacked her, while Falcon is distracting them. She plants the bomb, and yeah, they blow up. But before they blew up, the younger brother had sent out a message to his father and older brother saying that he obtained the God Metal, aka the vibranium, and he's gonna come in after them. And so the father and the brother retrieve the message, and they're gonna head back to Earth. So it says the end for now. So I think story threads are gonna pick back up in the Predator Kills the Marvel Universe series. I'm not reading that right now. I'm waiting for the trade to come out, but I'm thinking that story thread is gonna pick back up. So yeah. The third and final Predator versus series is Predator versus Spider-Man, again written by Benjamin Percy. And this time only one penciler, and that's Marcelo Ferreira. And Jay Lyston did the inking. Colorist is Frank Darmada. Sorry, Frank. And the letterer is Clayton Cowles. So in this story, it's during the middle of the summer. New York is experiencing a heat wave, and there is a serial killer going around and getting people alive, and you know what that means. There's a predator on the loose in New York City, got a detective here. Her name is, what is her name? Detective LaPearl, investigating the scene. They don't know what it is. We all know, but they don't. So yeah, the person in the hazmat suit taking photos of the skinned body. And then the person who was taking photos ended up being Peter Parker, because he was in, but damn, look at this shot of Spider-Man. Ferreira definitely draws a great Spider-Man, so he's trying to send a story to J. Jonah Jameson. They got a serial killer out on the loose, and they're naming him Skinner, and they don't realize what's going on. So as Spider-Man is swinging back to the Daily Bugle, he comes across some robbers. He goes after them, but while he's chasing them down, there's some kids playing by a fire hydrant who are in the way, so he saves those kids, leaving the robbers to get away. And then the robbers, they get back to their hideout, and guess who's waiting there for them? The Predator. Yeah, the Predator kills all the robbers. Look at how gruesome that is. Holy crap. I think this series was the most gruesome out of the three. Like the most gore, and yeah, definitely. So the Predator straight up, yeah, he takes the skin off of this guy's face, kills him, and then look at this. Straight up puts his face on. So Spider-Man gets done saving those kids. He goes back to the robbers' hideout, and what does he find? Yeah, them strung up, and he calls the, who does he call? Oh yeah, he's talking to Jameson, and he tells Jameson, we're dealing with a serial killer. And then it cuts to MJ. She's on the subway. She's preparing for a role she's auditioning for, and then the power cuts out, and it's a citywide blackout. And she comes across a girl who's pretty scared, and she's claustrophobic, so she's trying to calm her down. And you know what that is, you know what that means, the infrared, ultraviolet vision. So they look outside, they think somebody's outside, but guess what? It's a Predator. Look at how gruesome that looks. That's crazy. Predator crashes in, or gets into the subway, and since all the power lines are down and all the power's out, they want to get the story of this supposed serial killer, so they actually, go analog, and they print out an actual paper so they can hand out to all the citizens of New York. And they're selling him, and then the detective from earlier noticed that it was Peter who took those photos, and she questions Jameson about Peter's whereabouts. Again, great image of Spider-Man there. And the Predator isn't the only hunter in New York City now. Craven shows up, because Craven catches wind of this supposed serial killer, so he wants to go hunting himself. So that was the end of the first issue. And then again, they're trying to get the power back on, and it's really hot. So we got one worker, he comes across that subway that MJ was trapped in. He opens it, and look at that, just blood everywhere. People are, so this is a crazy image that the Predator tricks this worker into thinking that it's it's a woman, but takes off his skin. Oh man, that's crazy. And while that's happening, MJ and the girl escape, and the detective goes to Peter's apartment to question him. And Peter escapes and tells the detective, hey, go to the robber's hideout. You'll find bodies. We got a serial killer on the loose. And another dope image. Man, the artwork in this is just really good. So Peter, he tries to learn more about the killer, so he goes to the library and notices that these killings have been happening for hundreds of years. And then Craven also investigates what's going on, and he's like elated. He's finally found a prey that's worthy of the hunt. So the detective comes across Craven, and Craven incapacitates her, and he learns that Spider-Man is also on the hunt. So he's trying to get to the Predator before Spider-Man does. And then MJ and the little girl, they run into this hobo who's living in the sewer, and the hobo shows him that the Predator's makeshift throne room that's made of bones and just dead people's skin is fucking wild image. And yeah, Peter explains to Jameson that these killings have been going on for hundreds of years all around the globe. And then his spider sense gets triggered. He senses a ship is flying above them, and it turns out that multiple predators have arrived, and they're actually looking for the same predator, because the predator who's been committing all the murders throughout New York City is a rogue predator who just enjoys killing for the sake of killing. And so Peter tries to get J. Jonah to get out of the office while the predators break in, and then he has to fight them because they learn that the Skinner predator has been leaving his calling card, so they're trying to hunt that rogue predator down. They get into a fight with Spidey, and this has just been a really fun series. And then the workers, they're about to get the power back on, but Craven stops them because Craven wants the city to remain in a complete blackout, so it'll help him. And meanwhile, Predator's killing a bunch of animals and people throughout the city still. And the hobo pretty much saves Mary Jane and this kid by pushing them into a bunch of, like a pile of rats, so the predator doesn't sense him. Look at this guy, he's fucking ugly. But that predator kills the hobo, and then, you know, Spider-Man's still fighting the other predators. And in the last issue, MJ and the girl escape from the sewer. Meanwhile, the Skinner predator is tracking them down, and then Craven intercepts them. And Craven's looking for the predator. Where is the predator? That's my Craven impersonation. How do you say that word? I fucked up that word. You know what I mean. My impression of Craven. There we go. I fucked that up. But so he's looking for that predator. And J. Jonah and the detective are about to be attacked until the Skinner shows up. it's still fighting the other predators. Liked how the action sequences are drawn here. And Kraven eventually fights the Skinner Predator. They go all out, they hurt each other, and then Kraven eventually cuts off the Skinner's head. Acid image. And then the other predators recognize game, but before the Skinner Predator died, he sets off his wrist bomb, and then so Spidey has to get out of it while Spidey's taking care of the bomb. And he's swinging, preparing. MJ sees Peter. Peter throws it into the river. It explodes. He saves the city. And meanwhile, Kraven initially fights the other predators that were hunting down the Skinner Predator. And those predators recognize that Kraven is a worthy adversary. So Kraven eventually joins them. He gets into their ship. And they leave. And they're safe. Peter and MJ brace each other, and that is it. That was it. That was Predator versus Spider-Man. And so I liked Predator versus Black Panther the least. I liked Predator versus Spider-Man the second most, and my favorite was Predator versus Wolverine. Again, there's going to be one more series. Predator kills the Marvel Universe, and the trade should be coming out sometime next year. So I can't wait to get that. So that is it. I really enjoyed these series. Benjamin Percy is a really good writer. They're very fun. The artwork was incredible throughout. So shout out to all the artists that were involved in each of these series. And yeah, I can't wait for the next one. So I definitely recommend all three of those trades. If you're a huge Predator fan, go check them out and tell me what you think. And if you read them already, yeah, just let me know what you thought of each series, what your favorites were. And that's it for this week's Trade Talk Tuesdays. So thank you for watching. Again, for next week, the trade that I'm going to be going over in celebration of the release of the third season of Star Wars Visions, I'm going to be going the Treasury edition of Star Wars Visions. They got a story by Peach Momoko and Takashi Okazaki. So yeah, be on the lookout for my thoughts on this next week. So again, thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe if you haven't, share the video. It would mean a lot and much appreciated. So again, this is Chris Gonzalez.